Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Purplelunarose Tarot and Astrology. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the week of September 28th through October 4th. We are going to wrap up September and move into the first week of October. Tonight's live is going to be very short and sweet. I'm going to talk to you about the astrology, and then I'm going to do a small reading for the collective. And then I'm going to wrap it up because I'm sure, as you can possibly tell, I'm not feeling so well, but I didn't want to miss out on this live and this opportunity to close out this month of September. So, guys, please remember we are multi streaming Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. I see everyone coming in. Welcome, ladies. Let me know sound is okay. I'm live streaming off my laptop today. I'm sitting out on the back porch. I thought it would probably be a good idea to have some fresh air tonight as I try to push through this live. I really don't have a lot of information. This is very much the aftermath of eclipse season. So if you're still with me, one, I guess we didn't get chosen for the rapture, right? And two, we made it through that very intense eclipse season. So I'm kind of grateful to be on the back half, I guess you could say, of this eclipse season and ready just to get through it, right? Vanessa says sound is good. Sandra, thank you, ladies. All right, so let me get to my notes. We're going to go over the information. I did share some of it on your screen there. Again, I'm looking at the last week of September, first few days of October. Guys, we're going to go over all of October transits on Tuesday, September 30th. Tuesday, September 30th, we'll go over all of October transits. Tomorrow, I do have October's twin flame current energy scheduled. It's scheduled. If I sound like this, I'm probably going to push it back to Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure which day just yet. And Thursday, we're going to do the elements. We're going to look at collective energies with fire, water, earth, and air. So that's how the schedule is looking so far. But tonight, let me go over what we're going to be dealing with. So it's very much a foundation building time now that we've made it to the other side of the eclipse season. The eclipse season helped us become more mature. It's helping us find purposeful action as well. And this is both within ourselves and potentially within the connection as well. So here's the energies that are going to be at play this week. We have the first quarter moon in Capricorn. This is going to be a really powerful moon. It comes in on September 29th. I don't normally break down first quarter moon energy, but it is very much building a sacred structure type of energy. So I thought it would be really important that we went over what the themes with this first quarter moon is. So this is the universe asking you to get serious about your healing and your mission. So, for twin flame energy, the moon highlights the need for emotional maturity. For the divine feminine, for example, this is about creating healthy structures for your life independent of the connection. So, showing you that you are full partner in this journey. For the divine masculine, this energy supports stepping into commitment to their own healing, to providing stability, and to long term vision of union. So the collective challenge here with this first quarter moon in Capricorn is old patterns of procrastination and fear of commitment could be resurfacing. The DM may feel the weight of responsibility, while the divine feminine may struggle with impatience for union to manifest in the 3D. I feel like a lot of us are feeling that first quarter moon energy already. The second energies I want to talk to you about transits, we have the Sun and Mercury in Libra. So the Sun in Mercury in Libra, this is very much a dance of harmonious communication. This is balancing the me with the we through conscious communication. So again, for twin flames, Libra's energy is the heart of the twin flame dance, harmony and partnership. So with the sun and Mercury here in the sign, the focus is on seeing the other's perspective. This is prime time for telepathy, communication, heart-centered downloads, and if you're in contact, having balanced, fair conversations. It really softens the runner chaser dynamic and encourages more mutual understanding. The collective challenge here with this energy, the sun and Mercury both in Libra, is going to be the shadow side of false harmony. So, avoiding necessary truths to keep the peace type of energy. The key is going to be to seek balance, not codependency. Jenna, welcome. All right, and then here's the one that I feel is going to impact us the most. Probably already heard about it. Mars in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio. This is where we're taking a deep dive into healing, and many of us are experiencing passionate reunions. The theme here is very intense, transformative energy that brings hidden truths to the surface. For divine masculine and divine feminine energies, Mars in Scorpio is the engine for shadow work. This is not a gentle energy, and it really demands that you face your deepest fears, insecurities, and power dynamics. For both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, this can bring up intense passion, a magnetic pull, but also triggers related issues of control, jealousy, and past trauma. So this transit of Mars in Scorpio can really fuel a powerful surge of energy towards reunion, but it must be built on healed foundations. Healed foundations. The collective challenge with Mars in Scorpio is going to be the intensity. The intensity can lead to power struggles or even obsessive thinking. The lesson is to channel this powerful energy inward for purification and not outward towards controlling one another. The best practices for the week I put on your screen. Focus on building your legacy. Use the Capricorn moon energy to take one practical step towards personal goal that aligns with your soul's purpose. Your mission should feel magnetic at this time with that Capricorn moon. You want to communicate from the heart. If communication occurs, lead with statements like I feel. That's Mercury and Libra. Seek to understand and not win. If in separation, journal letters to your twin to release the energy. That has been very helpful for me. Erica, welcome. All right, also embrace the deep dive. Don't shy away from the intense emotions of Mars and Scorpio. Sit with them and ask yourself, what old wounds is this triggering? And how can I heal this for myself? This is how you're going to burn the karma. Balance action with surrender. Mars wants to make things happen, but Libra reminds us of divine timing. So take action on your own healing, but surrender the need to control the outcome of the connection. I do want to take a quick look ahead because we do have an exciting week coming next week when we look at the week of the first full week of October. We're going to have that full moon in Aries, but we also have Mercury moving into Scorpio. And that's going to be communication becoming much more intense and profound. So get ready for outspoken truths to surface and conversations to really cut to the core. This is going to be a time for deep soul level talks and revelations. That full moon in Aries comes in on October 6th, and this is a fiery moon. It's going to illuminate themes of self versus other. It's a powerful moment of breakthrough where the courage to be authentic individual selves, that's the Aries energy, culminates, potentially leading to a significant shift in the dynamic of your connection. It's about reclaiming your identity within the dance. I feel like this week for me feels very strongly as I'm experiencing this type of spiritual awakening journey, but I'm finally understanding like why spirit kept telling me that it was about the purpose and not the person. Like I'm finally receiving some major breakthroughs in that area. Um, I don't really want to get into it too much because I feel like I want to make this live short and sweet, but I do feel like it's going to be something that in the future we're talking more about. All right, so that is the information I have for the astrology. I am going to do a quick collective. We're just going to look at the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. I'm going to start with the Heal Yourself reading cards. Erica comes in with the confirmation. I imagine that our collective energy is strong at this point, and it's easy for most of us now to see what type of spiritual awakening journey um, we're experiencing. I feel like there's so many labels. Like I call this journey the twin flame journey. Um, some call this a soul awakening. Um, some call it a heart chakra activation. There's so many different labels, but I think the way that we know is that weird feeling like we've known each other for a long time, or like when you hear me and it feels like I'm talking like to you specifically. It's that home feeling, right? And I think the bridging energy has always been important as well because it gives us confirmation that we're all learning the same lesson at the same time. All right, let me grab a drink before I get started. All right, number 22, have faith flies out all on its own. I'm using the Heal Yourself reading cards. Help from above also comes out all on its own. Discover your life's purpose. Perfect, right? Comes out for bridging energy. So that gives me big confirmation that right now, um, Spirit's asking all of us um, to focus on the purpose, to focus on our individual purpose. Like we know at this point that collectively, the purpose of awakening is to bring love into this really messed up world, right? I just got in trouble for saying that. Apparently the world's not messed up. This is just an experience that we wanted to have. Okay. But anyway, um, excuse me. Um, we're all being asked to find our individual way of being able to give, receive, share, teach, live in unconditional love in our own individual way. However, we're going to do that. For me, it's the love of all the spiritual things. And I'm learning apparently the witchy things as well. Um, Again, the labels. I'm not a fan of the labels, but I'm really noticing that like I really like sage. I'm noticing I really enjoy um, different herbs and um, elements of earth, crystals, um, all the things. I don't know how to describe it without just putting labels on it, and I'm trying not to do that. So it's like, that's how I enjoy sharing what I've learned in my awakening. So there's going to be something that you're realizing right about now that you really enjoy doing, and somehow doing that is going to help you share your awakening, your testimony. And I feel like at first, when I first started having my awakening, it was very much about, we're supposed to be doing it by example. We're supposed to be doing it by example, that type of energy. I feel like for the most part, the collective that has been awake, um, I don't know, I've been riding this wave since like 2015. So, you know, if you're in that area, the 2015, 2017, and then of course 2020, um, we're at the point where we're actively showing it by example. So now it is time to share it through testimony, share it through your story, share it by telling people like what happened to you, share it by giving confirmations in the chat. Like when I said something and Erica was like, yeah, same, I'm experiencing that too. Those little things help so many people. You wouldn't believe it. There's so many people that watch these informative videos, and they don't speak up. They don't say anything. Diana likes to call them silent watchers, right? Um, and we do. We have a lot, but I'm not like the only one, especially in this niche, right? Like there's silent watchers is a thing. And I think that as the more the world awakens, of course, more people will come out and start talking about it more openly. And I can already see that. But I also feel like we're going to take some hits. You know what I mean? Like, it feels to me like I'm in this timeline of, you know, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. And I mean, we're also in the timeline of Pluto in Aquarius. So it's like everything coming full circle. Um, the judgments, you know, being handed down left and right is insane right now in the world that we're living in. And I'm in the US, so I know like it's super bad here. And I know it's super bad in other places. And I know that, like, you know, I have people that watch from like all different countries, and I get people that tell me, like, Rosa, we've been dealing with that, our whole life or our whole existence, in the US is just now dealing with a certain situation. Like, I don't know, with freedom of speech, right? Um, and I get that. I understand that. And I think that's why it's so important right now that those of us that have been going through awakening, that have been working on healing ourselves, that have been doing our shadow work, that have been accepting who we are and surrendering to this spiritual path and journey, like, that's why it's important now more than ever, probably, that we speak up and that we tell people and we conversate and we confirm and we give clarity and we just listen to people when they come and tell us whatever their story or their moment or whatever they're experiencing, right? Jenna says 2016 for me, 2017 I deprogrammed myself. Mine was much slower than that. Much slower. Mine was more like 2015. It was happening to me and I didn't even realize what was happening, type of thing. Um, 2017, I started to realize some shit was about to go down. uh, I feel like 2018, the shit went down. Um, 2019, Dark Night of the Soul. 2020, I tried to recreate the wheel. But it's also when I started following purpose. It's also when I created PLR. Um, an interesting thing that I learned this week about my journey is, and tell me if this resonates with any of you guys. I feel like I was running in times that I thought I was chasing, and I was chasing in times that I thought I was running. It's like that aha moment um, just happened to me this week. But I think it had a lot to do with all the breakthroughs of the journey itself. And I experienced one of those moments too, where it's like, you know how they say, they say, if you don't learn the lesson will repeat itself until you learn it. Um, I feel like Spirit tried to show me something in the last couple of weeks that I wasn't seeing something clearly, and so it like showed itself to me again in a different person. I want to say a different place, but it wasn't a different place. But it was like this could have happened again, and I don't know. I feel like I got this weird message like I'm not learning the lesson, and if I'm not cautious, I could repeat this cycle. Reptical Flame on Twitch. I'm actually doing a collective tonight. A collective. Sandra says 2020 was a major shifting point for me. Same. Same. I actually had PLR. I had like the concepts and the ideas and journals and papers and files, and it just took me until October of 2020 to actually like hit the button. um, but yeah, I sat on it. I sat on it for a good almost a year. All right, so the good thing for the Divine Masculine, have faith coming out, number 22. Again, the number synchronicities. I don't know about you guys, but the synchronicities have been like through the roof for me, like through the roof. And if you're wondering, like, what is a synchronicity or why do we experience synchronicities? Synchronicities can definitely be like numbers, like a number that has a significant meaning to you, like your birthday, or a repeated number, or an angel number, an address, a birthday. Did I say that already? Bear with me. I'm still, um, but synchronicities can also be like you meet someone and they live in the same house that you lived in when you had the beginning of your awakening. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be a synchronicity. Um, Synchronicities are the universe's way of showing you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, that you're a part of something much bigger than just yourself, right? How have the synchronicities been for you guys? Tell me in the comments. Tell me, I want to know. Are you seeing numbers, names, The telepathy has been huge. I talked about that already because of Mercury. As Mercury moves through Libra and Scorpio, the twin flame telepathy is going to be intense. Intense. So, divine masculine, um, it's funny because the picture, they're standing in a cemetery. Ooh, I get to tell the story. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I get to tell you a cool story. Um, so the masculine energy in this picture, the card number is 22. It says have faith, and she's standing. It looks like in a cemetery. You can see like an old concrete statue of a cross behind her. Um, okay, so there's this cemetery that I really like here. Um, okay, so I guess I gotta start at the beginning. First, when I lived at my grandpa's, my grandpa raised me. He had this long driveway. You had to walk up the driveway to get to the bus. My grandpa mowed our driveway, like all the way up the sides of our driveway. And he would always cross the street and go mow the little cemetery that was across the street from our driveway where I stood to catch the bus. So every morning I was standing up there at 6 a.m. Sometimes when it's not even, it's still dark. There was this creepy little cemetery that was right across the street from my grandpa's driveway, and it used to really wig me out. My mom told me this horrendous childhood story about when she was little. They made this dare that they would go up there and stay like 15, 20 minutes by themselves in the dark. And I can't remember if it was her or her brother, but somebody got scared and they stabbed the pocket knife into the ground when they were getting ready to get up and run. They had this pocket knife in their hand, and they caught their jacket, so they thought that something was trying to hold them down and hold them back. So creepy stories about this cemetery. But I always noticed that my grandpa would go over there and mow. And one time I asked him, I was like, "Why do you mow over there? Why do you go over there and weed eat and mow the cemetery? Do they pay you for that?" I remember asking him, and he was like, "No, it's just I'm already up there." And he asked me, he said, "Have you ever looked at um like the headstones, like what's up there?" There was like a whole section of babies, like there was a whole section of babies that had died in like the early 1900s. I want to say, I can't remember what he told me it was, like polio or something. I don't remember. But most of the cemetery was like of this, this area, and then there was like other people, but it was a very small cemetery. um and it just always like got a hold of me. So everywhere I've went in life, I've just liked cemeteries, and I've always went. I'm not like weird and trying to like dig up dead people or nothing like that. I like picking up their flowers and like setting things up proper, like when they get blown over or knocked over. I pick up trash, stuff like that. Okay, anyway. So I found this cemetery here, and I really feel, I don't know, comfortable there. It's really open. It's beautiful landscape. It's very well taken care of. It's very clean every time I go. Um, I like to, of course, walk around and look at all the, headstones, right? My grandpa got me doing that, right? So now I like to do that. Um, we we're in the car and we're driving up around it, and I noticed that one of them is this concrete statue of Jesus. And I'm like, I don't remember seeing this statue of Jesus before. I would have wanted to stop the car and gotten out had I seen this statue before. Just like I want to stop the car right now and get out and go see what this statue is about. Is this someone's headstone? Like, why is this statue of Jesus over here in the very top left corner of this cemetery? And I get out and I walk toward, as I'm walking towards it, I know that something big is about to happen. Like I can feel it. You know what I mean? And so I'm walking towards it, and I don't know what is going to happen. My first instinct is like take my shoes off, let my feet touch the ground. Something, I'm going to ground something. Who knows, right? So I remember taking my shoes off. But I get to the statue of Jesus. I wish I had it on here that I could show you a picture, but I probably shouldn't show people a picture of like somebody else's headstone. But anyway, the headstone, it had a message. It had this beautiful message engraved into the bottom at his feet. I believe it said, "There's room for you left at the cross." Um, and the dates, it was a headstone, and the date for the gentleman was like 19 35 um, to uh, I'm getting it wrong. The date that he passed away was April 17th of 2009. I can't remember how old this gentleman was, but he was up there in the years. But the significant part of this statue, other than it was Jesus, right? Is and when I'm saying this, like, I'm not, this has nothing to do with like Jesus in the Bible, or like Jesus, whoever Jesus is for you. I'm talking about like Christ consciousness, and that's why we keep seeing references to Jesus, right? But anyway, so I'm standing there uh at this headstone, and I see that date that he passed away is April 17th, 2009. I want you guys to know that my birthday is April 17th, 1979. But I was actually leaving, I believe it was St. Francis Hospital, on April 17th of 2009. I walked out of the doors of the hospital and went home after being in a coma, um, after being having emergency surgery, after having like blood poisoning. I had had a really bad infection, like an abscess in my wisdom teeth, and I had my wisdom teeth pulled. And I wasn't given any antibiotics, and that infection got into my bloodstream when my teeth were pulled. By the time I think I had surgery, I had visited 3 emergency rooms in that many days. And by the time they realized like what was happening, I only had like so many hours before the blood reached my heart. Um, so I had to have surgery like right then and there. And I was in a coma for so long that, um, about a week, but so long that the preacher, the 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 hospital pastor came to speak to my husband at the time, my ex-husband now, um, about what we would do if I didn't wake up. Um, so I thought, like, what are the odds that I would be drawn to this cemetery, and that I would see this Jesus statue, and that I would get out of my vehicle and walk up and see this date of this person passing on April 17th of 2009. And I immediately, it was like a timeline in my mind. It was like a time warp, like just being kind of like reversed backwards, like a VHS tape, you know what I mean? And I could see myself sitting in the wheelchair as they were rolling me out the door on my birthday, April 17th, 2009. If that doesn't give people more confirmation of oneness, of source, like, I don't know what else there. I don't have another story that's any better than that. You know what I mean? I'll probably remember that moment, like, seriously, for the rest of my life. I actually came across 2 headstones, by the way, that had April 17th. Um, and that was just really the universe trying to get me to pay attention, which I was paying attention, and I got the message immediately. Immediately. For divine masculine, If you feel like you're losing faith, the synchronicities are there to help you strengthen your faith. For Divine Feminine, you have help from above. It's number 27. Um, okay. So I got this message. I think I got it yesterday. It may have even been the day before yesterday. But I've been carrying it with me. I feel like ever since I got the message, it's like every time somebody comes at me with, some type of world news or something, it's like that message comes back, and it's like I'm carrying it with me, and I'm using it every time I need it. So I'm going to share it with you. This is the message. Spirit says, Spirit, God, Source, whatever you got to put there. Okay, so the way God told me is, God's been there for me every single time. Every single time. Every time I thought I wasn't going to make that bill, every time I thought I was going to go hungry, every time I thought I wasn't going to get that job, every time I thought whatever it was, every single time God has been there. And yes, the world is crazy right now. Yes, Pluto's return is kicking our ass. Yes, the foundation is crumbling. God's not going to abandon us now. He never did before. We're going to make it through, just like we've made it through all the other things. And something that has been helping me, so this is Divine Feminine energy here, something that's been helping me is focus on the good of the world. Like, all right, you need to remain knowledgeable of current events, but you don't need to doom scroll, right? Um, you need to remain knowledgeable of current events and what's happening in the world, but you can do that. Okay, when I first started watching news reports of Gaza, I went overboard. Like, I had never even heard of Gaza. Like, that's who I'm a normal person living in this little town in Kentucky, having my own life experiences. I'm sure somewhere along the way, someone mentioned it, and it just wasn't a part of my reality. Um, and then Spirit made it a part of my reality. And when that happened, I became so overwhelmed by wanting to know everything there was. Remember when I was trying to figure out who started the war? You guys remember that? So I wanted to get so much information, right? And it was like all I could find was all the negative things. And it was like I was focusing on the negative things. I wanted to know more negative statistics because I was so baffled and just blown away and couldn't believe what I was learning and what I was reading. Today, I I I study about um, different people that have come from there, and what they've done with their lives. I study the culture. I study humanitarian efforts that are being trying, right, to be done for the country. I try, or for the place. I try to find like the most positive thing I can about the challenging situation that is. Does that make sense? And if I do that, then it's like spirit allows me to take in more information and more information. But if I go straight to like the ugliness of something, then spirit's going to limit how much time I can take that in. Does that make sense? Help from above is coming in so many different ways that I feel like for the most part, the divine feminine has a very clear feeling of protection. I feel like sometimes it makes no sense to me. It's just a knowing, an inner knowing. Discover your life's purpose. We're all being asked to focus on what it is that we're supposed to be doing and how we're going to do it. And the funny part is that we've been brainwashed to believe that um, we have to just physically work hard and kill ourselves and work at jobs that we don't like or don't want to be at. Um, and it's like that's part of the reprogramming, like Jenna was talking about, where like we're learning through our awakening that we weren't created just to come here and suffer. We weren't created just to come here and work 40 hours a week and pay taxes and die. And did you know that like there's so many people in the world that don't even realize that it's different in other places? Like not every country requires people to have to do the things that we have to do here. Does that make sense? Just found the picture you sent. Thank you. January 30th, 1935 to April 17th, 2009. That was crazy, wasn't it? Tell me that's not a crazy story. Oh my goodness. All right, so guidance cards, guys, guidance card. The elder card comes out, the man card comes out, and the tree stump card comes out. All right, let me get a quick message. 68. All right, the elder card is wisdom, experience, knowledge, care, depth, passive action, self assurance, endurance, patience. It also says irritability, inflexibility, afraid of death, weakness, regrets, senility, and impatience. All right. In selecting this card, it's a sign that the wisdom in you is growing. Tree of Life Elder is always with you. This is an ancient and eternal aspect of self, silent, watchful, and knowing. This ancient one will warn you when you're going astray and will gently nudge you back to safety or smack you hard. Either way, Tree of Life Elder knows the role of senior members is to reinforce the younger ones by sharing knowledge. Elders remind you of what you know deep down. You know all you need to know deep inside. Tree of Life Elder is that aspect within. I love when I turn a card over out of a whole oracle set and it literally wraps up everything that we just got done talking about, right? It says, with love and patience, calm and wise hands are there to show you that you can endure. You can live your dreams or live nightmares and tell the tale. Tree of Life elder not only wants you to survive, this elder wants you to branch out, to reach for your glory, to belong and to be strong. Tree of Life elder urges you to be aware, to be patient in some situation now. Know that you're responsible for your decisions. Try not to get irritable when others don't understand you or what you're doing, and learn from your mistakes and let regrets help you make better decisions. All right, guys. See, I'm going to leave it right there. Short and sweet tonight, but I don't feel too tired. I don't feel like I overdid it. We got the information out there. I didn't share very much, so if you feel called to, make sure to hit the like button and share out. That would be super helpful. Tomorrow night, if I'm feeling better, we will do the October Twin Flame Current Energy update. And I may offer some energy readings at the end of that. Again, really just depends on how I'm feeling. Um, Thursday, we have the elements. I believe I'm going to be doing the elements this way, in a collective type of vibe, for the next couple of weeks as we work through October. And then I have to decide how I want to do it after that. I'm trying to decide if I want to break it down into, 5 lives a week again, if I want to keep it all 12 signs and just kind of shorten the spread. I don't know, guys. I haven't decided. But we're in that energy where we're kind of like wrapping up 2025, right? And I want to start working on our 2026 astrology calendar soon. So I want to get to this, um, the end of the season at work, and get into this winter schedule, so that by the time springtime comes along, we'll be in a more, set schedule. Will be a lot easier to navigate. All right, guys. Sandra says that cricket is singing me to sleep. I love that you guys can hear it. I was worried about if you could or not. Super cool. All right, guys. I will hopefully see you tomorrow night. I love y'all. Thank you for coming in, hanging out with me. I appreciate all of you very, very much. I'm always, always sending you abundant love and light on your journey. Have a good night.